Welcome to the Illinois State Library for the celebration of life for Meghan Lynn Harmon. Meghan was born to parents Beth Harmon and Bob Harmon on December 22nd, 1983. And she left this world on January 26, 2025, surrounded by family and close friends. We're very thankful for you all sharing this celebration of life today at the library, where Meghan exercised her passion for bringing increased access to information to the people of Illinois. With today's program, you'll find a bookmark, and I hope you'll hold onto that bookmark and cherish it. On the bookmark, you'll find a QR code for a forever link to an online folder featuring memories of Meghan, her family, her friends, and her travels. If you scan that code with your phone, you can witness some of the wonderful life that Meghan lived. My name's Chris McDonald, and I was privileged to know Meghan as an instructor at Lincoln Land Community College, where she was a member of the honors program. I see several colleagues in the room who have similar connections. I'm saddened, but also humbled and honored to have been asked to play this role and part of this celebration of Meghan's life in all its diversity. Meghan excelled in education and was a graduate of Litchfield High School in 2002. She felt it was important to continue with many educational opportunities wherever possible, at Lincoln Land, at UAS, at UIUC, and we'll examine parts of this as we move forward. Friendship, however, as this room testifies, was very important to Meghan. Meghan formed very strong bonds with everybody she encountered and many friends for life. At Lincoln Land, she met Marisa Beard, she shared an apartment with Tiffany Strevel, and she learned alongside Elizabeth Vonderburg Featon and Adrienne Powers. The five of them went on to share all of their lives' incredible events. They called themselves the Honors Girls.
When the four of us got together and tried to put together words about our dear sweet friend Meghan, despite over 20 years of friendship and so many memories, we all had a very hard time trying to actually express the special kind of person that she was. We sat and we laughed and cried and laughed some more and told so many stories, some of which we can't share here because they are far too incriminating for all of us. Ultimately, we all agreed that everyone was a part of Meg's life, was touched by her, and Meghan was the glue in all the puzzle pieces of her life.
So the Honors Girls came to be in 2002. I had the fortune of meeting her first when Beth brought her into Lincoln Land. I was working at the registration desk that day, and she met with the counselor, came out with her class schedule and a brochure for the honors program, and I saw it and said, "Oh, you're thinking about joining?" And she said, "Yeah, I am." And I said, "Let me see your schedule." And she handed it to me, and I said, "This is all wrong. We're going to redo it." So we got her set up. I talked up the honors program, said, "We've got a great group of friends. You're going to fit in great. Come and join us." So she did, and that's when our history began. None of us will ever forget the first day that the rest of us met her. She walked into honors orientation with her Tool shirt on. I'm sure that many of you are very aware of that sweatshirt, and you'll get the opportunity to see it at Arlington's if you come and join us there. We all remember that so fondly, and as the school year started, we noticed she usually had this redheaded boy following her around. We've come to love him as well. Despite being so different, our friendship just worked. It came together perfectly and naturally. Meghan was so special. She would wear fishnets and rock band shirts. She had this badass attitude, and she could lay down and thrash at a concert, but she was also very delicate, so gentle and so kind. And she just radiated intelligence and beauty, professionalism, and strength in her sweet dresses that she would wear and her perfectly polished nails on her tiny little hands that I loved to hold. We all agreed that people were just drawn to her because she was so fascinating and so beautiful. And she was just so diverse. She could go from wearing all black to rainbow wigs. And I wanted to share a special little story that happened last night. We were getting together to do the programs, and my girls saw all the rainbows. And my oldest daughter said, "I've got the perfect black dress to wear to this funeral." And my youngest said, "It's not that kind of party." And I just thought to myself, that is so quintessential Meghan, that she would want you guys to have the best time. But you could wear black, you could wear rainbows, you could do whatever you want.
Purple hair. Over our years of friendship, Meghan went through the good, the bad, the ugly with all of us. We used to have game nights where we would get together and play games, board games, crazy fights over games, enjoy food. One of the game nights involved Maggie trivia, with the prize being that Greg proposed to her. And Tiffany was there ready with her camera. Well, we all thought that we knew Meghan pretty well. It was really surprising and pretty funny to find out that our kids actually won the trivia game. My daughter Audrey and Adrian's son Cameron, they were the winners of Meghan trivia, and I don't think we'll ever forget that. Eventually those game nights, they morphed into just dinners where we would sit around and talk, and we'd have a break from the stresses of life together, just relax with the people that we loved the most and could uniquely be ourselves. And usually then we'd have to plan our next move with our busy calendars. We'd have to find our next time to get together.
So after Greg proposed, they decided they wanted to have a small, intimate, and meaningful wedding. Meghan told us that she wasn't sure how they would pull that off, and that's all she had to say. We jumped in and told her that not only would we help, but we would make it the best day ever. One she would never forget. And everything just kind of came together perfectly. Meghan's Uncle Dave and Aunt Tony graciously allowed us to use their beautiful home to host the wedding. Meghan found the most perfect wedding dress that was previously worn by her beautiful mother, Beth, the woman that she looked up to most in the world. And when she wore it, she looked as beautiful as Beth did that day, so many years before. So Meghan and Greg wanted to have the most delicious wedding food ever. So we all got together and made it all, including the cupcakes. So that was a wonderful undertaking, and we had some great memories putting all that together. We also made decorations, and she made the legendary brooch bouquet. Rumor has it that she had to lift extra to be able to carry that all day. And she honored us by asking us to stand up for her and Greg as witnesses. And in true Meghan fashion, she didn't want us to spend a lot of money or make a big fuss. So we actually honored her wishes, found dresses that we had either in our closet or thrift stores, and we did our own hair and makeup. And one of the most unique things that she wanted at her wedding ceremony was to recognize all the people that made her and Greg's lives together so special. And we've never seen any other bride ever work so hard to make sure that all of her guests were celebrated for their role in the couple's marriage. It was truly a unique experience, and it shows just how much she cared about all of the people in her life. All the special details of her wedding came together perfectly. That day, Meghan gifted each one of us a necklace with our initial and honors girls engraved on the back. These were puzzle piece necklaces that, when they were put together, formed a heart. This is honestly going to be the hardest thing for me to say today, so bear with me. When we lost her, a piece of her heart will always be missing. But the memories that we have will continue to be the glue that holds us all together.
Meghan shared her life with us, and through that brought us her beautiful mother, father, and brother, who she loved fiercely. We're blessed to also have them in our lives. We don't think anyone loved Meghan any more than her partner in life and husband, Greg. Greg will be the first one to tell you that Meghan made him into the man he is today. And while we all couldn't agree that she helped him along, she did. We also know that Meg could not have done life without Greg, and certainly couldn't have fought this like she did without him. Meghan was a pretty private person, especially during her diagnosis and battle. We struggled so much with how are we going to support Meghan and Greg, and what are we going to do for them, and how do we hold them up. So it was hard for us knowing what she was going through, but the best thing was that she had Greg by her side. We knew that he was taking care of her, and he was the person that she needed right there. We knew how much he loved her. He was her absolute rock. Greg was everything she needed to battle as long as she did, and we knew that he always had her. We smiled talking about the evolution of their relationship and marriage, and how the pieces of them just fit so perfectly, and how Meghan supported and encouraged Greg so much when they were younger. He used all of that support and love and gave it right back to her when she needed it the most. Greg, thank you so much for taking such great care of our girl. We couldn't have hoped for a better partner than you for our dear friend. Thank you.
Meg cared so much about others, and we know that she would want to make sure that this celebration was not just about her, but about everyone. Every one of you had a special place in her heart and just fit perfectly into her life and her story. So thank you all for being a part of her beautiful story.
Thank you. After performing duties for several years as a student worker while attaining her degrees at Lincolnland and at UIS, Meghan went on to become an adjunct faculty member at Lincolnland in teaching in English and humanities. There, she fostered amongst her students an interest in poetry, in literature, and in writing at a college level. She worked for several years at the Institute of Legal and Legislative and Policy Studies at UIS before taking a role in Brookings Library. Then, during that time, she obtained a master's degree in Library and Information Science from the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. That propelled Meghan into the opportunity of being the local history and genealogy reference librarian at Chatham Area Public Library. There, she helped public access to information, all the information that libraries have to offer, and spearheaded efforts to digitize local history materials. She also volunteered for a decade's worth of murder mystery fundraisers alongside her longtime partner Greg, where they performed a number of outlandish characters, very outlandish characters, thought up by the library director, Amy Byers' husband, Ryan. In 2017, Meghan found herself back where she had once interned at the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum. As reference librarian there, Meghan spent time in one of her favorite places, the stacks. That's miles of shelving down below street level, holding history dating back for centuries. She took very great pride in letting everyone know how they could access this trove of information. Her public presentations about the vast inventory of rare materials at the ALPLM and how the public could access and research them were always well attended, and Meghan certainly knew how to wow a crowd. In 2022, Meghan advanced to here, the Illinois State Library. Here, Meghan was a library program specialist. Alongside the extremely professional and supportive staff in her department, Meghan helped oversee policies and grants supporting libraries all across Illinois. She took part in regular information sessions, teaching librarians how they can find the support and information they need. Meghan's family would like to publicly thank the staff of the Illinois State Library for their incredible support of Meghan during some of the most trying times anybody can encounter. So thank you all. They are forever grateful to your assistance to Meghan. Meghan met her husband Greg Bishop when she was in 8th grade at Zion Lutheran School in Litchfield. He was a freshman in Litchfield High School. The two sparked a romance shortly after and made it semi-official on September 17th, 1998. They were an item. After Greg asked her to the homecoming date, they were an item after Greg asked her to the homecoming date. 17 years later, Meghan married Greg on September 17th, 2015. Greg regularly says, as we just heard, that Meghan made him the man he is. She helped provide guidance and direction on navigating higher education with a focus on what his real passion was, disseminating trustworthy information and news about current events to the public. With a few words about Meghan's impact on his life, here is Mr. Bishop.
This is the hardest thing I think I'll ever have to do in my life. It's been said multiple times, but it is true. Meghan took a scrappy kid from high school with not much direction, scattered passions, but some kind of drive. She saw that. She fostered that. She brought it to life, gave it focus, gave it purpose, and I'll forever be grateful for what she has done for me. I was going to read some of what I've posted on Facebook, but I'm just going to come to it from the heart. To Beth and Bob, thank you for raising such a wonderful daughter. Somebody who is selfless, caring, determined, beautiful, witty, sharp. Somebody who could take challenges like nobody I've ever known. She's the strongest person I will ever know. When I was going through some of the materials that she collected, because she was those who knew her, she was so organized. Cataloging everything. Being a librarian helped enhance that to where finding pictures in the right year and everything was a cakewalk. I did find a letter, I believe she wrote to her mother Beth, and it was signed Meghan Lynn Unicorns Harmon. I think she knew then that she was one of a kind. She was indeed a unicorn, somebody that we're never going to see again, but somebody who we know will be with us forever. Truly one of a kind. How do you take 27 years and encapsulate that in a moment like today? I don't think you can. I don't think you're supposed to. I think you're just supposed to live for her, live for those that we've lost every day, and take full advantage of it. Meghan was not defined by any ailment, by any disease, by any time of the week, month, or year, or mood. Meghan wasn't defined by any of those things. She was defined by all of us. And I thank you all for being here. One thing I've said it before in these times where you're suffering from loss and you're suffering from grief and all that ails the world. And regardless of where you find yourself on whatever religious path you might be on, the next time you look up at the sky, look onto those stars, let it sink in how small and insignificant we are. But right when you get to that point, realize you're alive, you're sentient, you experience love, tragedy, joy, hope, and by golly, love. And when you realize what a gift this is, this life, know that you have to grab it and embrace it and live to the fullest for Meghan and for all of those that we've lost. She will forever have a profound impact on my life, on the lives of those she was close to, and even those that she had brief encounters with. The stories I've heard over the past 3 weeks have been incredible. A friend reached out not long ago, hadn't talked to in a while, and they said that Meghan was there, a bright spot in a dark time. That's exactly who she was. Diligent, witty, and by gosh, that smile could light up the room. I again want to thank the Illinois State Library for not only allowing us to host this celebration of life today, but also being a family for Meghan. In some of the hardest times with the incredible levels of uncertainty, the team was there to support her, gifting sick time so that she could get the care she needed. So I want to thank you. I want to thank the honors girls for all that you guys have done, and the friendship and the love. She loves you guys so much. Kyle, you were this tall when I came over to your house, dude. Now you're like, a bean sprout. I used to go over to Megan's house, surely against her father's wishes at the time. And Kyle would always want to play Clue. And that was a running joke between Meghan and I. But to all of you, thank you so much for being here. I know I'm not the only one who's going to carry Meghan with me, as I know all of you will do the same. And let's take her memory and carry it on. for the rest of our lives and live life to the fullest. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Greg, for sharing those words. Hearing those words brought to my mind one aspect of my interaction with Meghan, which I thought perhaps I could share. I met Meghan as a teacher, and as teachers, as some of you know, I used to think we're a little arrogant. We're used to thinking of ourselves as the smartest people in the room. You don't have to teach for very long to realize that that's not the case. And Meghan, case in point. One of my most enduring memories of Meghan isn't a phrase or an action or an event. It's actually a look. It's a look which I think probably many of you know and recognize. It's a look that was captured in some of the photographs. It's a sort of slightly side-eyed, slightly quizzical, maybe with an eyebrow raised just a little bit, which terrified me as a teacher. Which made me think, I'm not getting away with anything here. I gotta be on the top of my game. I gotta get this right. And I think it made me a better teacher. But thinking about it more, I think, coming back, I think perhaps this is how Meghan had an impact on many of us. How she went through life with many of us. She made us raise our game in 100 different ways and 1,000 different people. The power of that raised eyebrow is really impressive. It made the world a better place. Hearing all these stories and memories, for me at least, made me realize how little I really knew about Meghan. But the people perhaps who really knew Meghan are a family. She didn't just love libraries or chasing rainbows or waterfalls with Greg or having dinner and nights with friends. She did cherish family. Holidays were a true tradition. She spoke about it all the time, gathering, feasting, celebrating, laughing. And so, perhaps to give us some real insights, the people who know her best, her family, Bob, Kyle, and her mother, Beth.
Okay, I'm not like Greg or Mr. McDonald here. I just wrote bits and pieces down of memories that I could think of today. And I wanted to say that Meghan was born on December 22nd, 1983. That year, December was the coldest month on record. When we got to the hospital, it was -18. On Christmas Eve, it was -11 with a wind chill of -45. Unbeknownst to us, the window was cracked a little bit in the hospital room, and he kept saying, "Man, it's cold in here." And I'm like, no, it's not. It's fine. So Maggie enjoyed cold. She came by it naturally because that's how she came. And then when she was in first grade, as far as her teachings and learning, she could not for the life of her understand why there had to be summer vacation. The teacher said, "Well, you need a break," and Meghan said, "No, I don't. And the teacher finally said, well, we need breaks. So that was, she always loved school, always. And being busy, she had to be busy. One summer, she went to every Bible school in town. And she critiqued every Bible school. I knew which church had the best snacks, the best crafts, the best music. But just the way her mind worked was awesome. She also loved being outdoors and exploring. And she loved chasing butterflies with her net. And one day she came in and wanted a jar. She went out to the pond and was catching tadpoles. And Bob's had a coworker at the house, and he asked her, he said, well, how many tadpoles have you got in there? And she said, 52. He looked at her and said, well, how do you know that? And she said, because I counted them. I think that's, oh, another thing we did, or she did. She went to Lincoln Land in Litchfield first, and Mr. Brubaker was there, which Bob had as a teacher in high school. So we knew Mr. Brubaker a long time. And Maggie had signed up for 3 classes for a summer. And Mr. Brubaker called me and he said, Beth, I'm a little worried about our girl here. He said, that's way too heavy of a load. I'm afraid she's going to be hitting a wall in like July. So I happened to ask her, I said, do you remember that wall that you were going to see? And she said, yes, I saw it, but I chose to go around it. So if she saw a goal and wanted to do something, she got the job done. When she was real little, she was a big fan of She-Ra. She would put her blankie on her head to be her long hair. Well, when She-Ra got her power from her sword, she also had a crown. So Maggie would put a headband on when she was She-Ra. So if she had the headband on, you had to say She-Ra. If she didn't have the headband on and you said She-Ra, she'd ignore you because then she was a Dora. So her imagination was always there, always. And then when she was about 4, I think this is my last one. I bribed her to walk into town, and it was probably maybe a 4-mile trip, round trip. We kind of lived outside of Litchfield, so there's really no place to walk. So we'd walk to town, and I would take a backpack. And I got her to go every day because we went to the library every day. And I would carry I'd let her get as many books as she's wanted as long as I could carry them. And on the way to the library, there was a sidewalk that had sparkles in it. And we always had to cross the street so she could go down that sidewalk and see the sparkles. So when Litchfield did new sidewalks, our neighbor was an excavator on it, and I talked to him, and I said, can you get me a chunk of that sidewalk? He not only got a chunk, he cut out. It's this thick. So she has bookends of her sparkle walk. So that's all I got. You guys want to say something?
Even though, as many of you heard the story, she may not have wanted a brother originally, she ended up with me, and she did take good care of me. I didn't necessarily follow in her footsteps to the honors girls and sign up, but I did go to Lincoln Land, and I thank her for that all the time because there's no reason to go anywhere other than a community college to get the start and figure out what you want to do with your life. She even made a binder and presented it to me as a Christmas gift that was Stinky Goes to College. So that was one of the things she called me. I don't know why. I think one of my other favorite stories of her and just kind of her character and how she didn't necessarily want to be controlled or anything to that extent. It was Zion, what grade was it for the, they always wanted us to go, it's a Lutheran school, they wanted us to go to church and Sunday school. So Meg had gone, and Mom obviously took her, 8th grade, so they would do on Monday mornings, church, Sunday school, or both. And she replied neither, and I think it was Brad Saxby sitting next to her was like, I saw you there. But she did not want them knowing or responding to it that she had followed what she needed to do. So just one of her little...
And I got a letter from the church saying, you need to bring this child to church and Sunday school. And I was. I didn't know she was saying she didn't go.
Yeah, so she did her critiques on Bible school. I was a Bible school dropout. I cried until they came and picked me up. So, and I never lived that down, including the movie Grease, where she was a beauty school dropout that was made into Bible school dropout to torture me. And I'm still waiting on that Clue game because they never played with me. Yeah, so she will be greatly missed, and it's been great hearing the stories and the care and the support that she got from those here at Illinois State Library and meeting all of you. It was very touching, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yes, yes.
Okay, where's the end of the stuff? When she was just a little thing, when we lived in Springfield, we'd go by Baskin Robbins. No matter how many times we'd go by, she always would say, hey, there's, she'd say Baskin Robbins. But no matter how many times we'd go by there and try to keep her busy and occupied, not out saying,
Look out the other window.
yeah, we tried to get her to go the others. Look, sorry. We'd kind of keep her from busy so she wouldn't know that we were passing Baskin Robbins. But somehow she'd turn and she'd say, Beth, help me here.
She didn't always say Baskin Robbins. She'd say Abim.
Abim is, we couldn't keep it from her. She always knew when we'd pass it, and she'd say good. She always loved
Pink elephant.
oh, the pink elephant. She called it Ellie, and that was always there. For
Lincoln Marathon.
yeah, I know which one was that one though.
Going to see her run. Going to see her run at the marathons.
I don't remember when the things was.
Downtown Springfield, Lincoln marathons, half marathon.
Hmm.
Good. Ready?
So many great stories. Her and Kyle. When she was being born, it was one of the shortest days of the year, but it seemed like one of the longest days of the year. But one of the best stories we had is one of the doctors, we both realized that he was helping her being born, and he was one of my summer help. And I couldn't believe that he was, like all those great years. And I looked up and realized that he was there to help me to have Megan. But I remember he was a good kid, and we always got along good. And I was glad he was a great summer help, and it was just incredible that he was there to begin with. Greg, it's not going now? Okay. She had some, just some super pictures, good. And, we didn't have, sure the hopes are now, but one year I made hers.
Costume.
Yeah, made her a costume for. Made her one of. We had. French fries. Yeah, I made her a. I made her a
large McDonald's French fry.
Yeah, so it was a little one put in a large, and it was so good that we took them by, I don't know, almost every McDonald's in Springfield, and they gave her, I was pretty
Proud of her.
yeah, but everybody loves it, and like I said, but that was just things like that, just yeah. But like I said, we went to how many McDonald's we went to, and they couldn't wait to give her,
Cookies.
yeah, cook. Everyone went, just because it was, but she was, and other things too. But anyway, I'll be all right. But thanks everybody for coming, serving with us. Yeah. I take a little care for, I help finish giving Greg, was she some given pin a scare of me? Yeah, there was a reason he was. I did the best I could, and yeah.
Yeah, and that includes Gabe and Travis and everybody else who ran around and ended up in the ditch out in front of the house and filling their pockets with sodas on the way out because Mom said they could have one.
Yeah. But thanks everybody for sparing all the guys with it. And that wasn't very much. I'm sorry, I'm just. But they loved each other. Maggie was she was tough on Kyle.
Only the first 13 years, 14 years
Yeah.
until she moved out, and then she realized maybe she missed me.
She was so mean to him. The other side. I kept telling him, I said, you better be nice to your brother, because one of these days, he's going to be big to you, and he's going to knock the living crap out of you. And she goes, oh, no, he won't. He'll never do that. And I said, he will. Right now, he loves you, but you're going to do something one day. So, but they got to be the best of friends, and we're really happy with that. So,
Thank you very much.
I'm super proud of both of them. Yeah, go ahead. You want to sit right down?
Thank you for sharing those memories. I have to admit, had I known the headband story, I would have been less scared. Enjoyment of music was another big part of Meghan's life. Her first major outing was when she was 18 and she won tickets to see Radiohead in New York City. Being as crafty as Meghan was, she entered herself, her mother, her friend Kristen, and her then boyfriend Greg all into the same scavenger hunt competition that Radiohead had devised. Meghan didn't tell any of the other people that she'd entered the other people, just in case somebody won, and then she'd have to break the bad news. But as it happens, Kristen won, and the two of them spent the weekend in New York seeing Radiohead for the first time. From there, she and Greg have been to see countless Radiohead concerts. They traveled around the Midwest, seeing their favorite performers. They traveled with friends to see the South Park 25th anniversary show in Colorado, and a trip even to Las Vegas to see Nine Inch Nails, where Meghan was very careful to make sure that in addition to the gambling, there was visits to national parks of the Southwest. With her parents and brother, seeing James Taylor and other performers seemed to be almost an annual tradition. And to honor Meghan's love for music, here is Meghan's goddaughter, Audrey Bowden, to sing Radiohead's Videotape.
When I'm at the pearly gates, this'll be on my videotape. When Mephistopheles is just in beneath, reaching out to grab me. This is one for the good days, and I have it all here in red, blue, green, red, blue, green. And you are my center when I spin away, out of control on videotape, on videotape, on videotape, on videotape, on videotape. This is my way of saying goodbye, 'cause I can't do it face to face. I'm talking to you, no matter
It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces here, and of course the many that I don't know. I know that many of you have carried your memories of Meghan here. Just a reminder that you'll find on the bookmark that was handed out at the beginning a QR code to a forever file full of memories, slideshows, videos of Meghan, her family and friends, and her amazing travels and presentations. Thank you again to the Illinois State Library, not just for the fostering care, loving and supportive place for Meghan, where you allowed her to spread her wings professionally, but also for allowing the family and friends to gather in celebration of Meghan's life. Meghan Lynn Harmon, a person who has enriched us all and all of our lives and made the world a better place. This concludes the formal component of the celebration, but the memories of Meghan will, of course, continue. Meghan's family and friends would like to invite you all to a reception at Arlington's, just north of the library on Broadway, where there'll be food, refreshments, and a chance for fellowship and sharing more memories of Meghan. Thank you very much for being here, and may Meghan's memory serve as a blessing to all who have been touched by the wonderful life she lived. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll do an orderly dismissal, and Greg would like for you and family like to take you to the back, and those of you that are not able to go to Arlington's, you can say goodbye. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming. We wish everybody a safe journey on your way home this afternoon. Thank you.